Hello, my Teaserking family. Welcome to another football edition. A couple of injury updates, and we'll go through the lines. I added a fifth lock. Well, I had two college, two pro, and then I added a college pro lock. Just a second. All right. So let's go. Let's go to the line. Now, the injuries. Daily, the Army quarterback will be playing. So that was a question mark. So I told you how to play that game if he was playing. Kings is a game time decision for Georgia Tech. West Virginia Green's out. Virginia Tech, I think Drones is out. They didn't really say anything about him. I think that was it. So we know Army's quarterback is playing, and that's a big deal because they're playing North Texas, who can light it up. So they're going to need offense. Let's go through the picks, the lines. Navy 458 to USF. Well, I kind of looked at them earlier, so I'm just going to go through the lines. It was 3.5. Cincinnati 4.5, 55. This hasn't changed against West Virginia. West Virginia's quarterback, I believe, is out. Let's take another look, but I believe Green's doubtful with an upper body. I don't think he's playing. The line didn't dictate he is. Minnesota 6.5, 44.5 at Rutgers. Ohio State 37.5, 54 to Purdue. Texas 21.5, 47.5 to Florida. BC 252 to Syracuse. Texas State 8.5, 50 to Lou Monroe. Texas State, explosive team. Lou Monroe, the good under team. Miami, they're down to 8.5, 63.5. They were 9.5. Well, what do we do here? So it looks like Kings is probably going to play. He's been out 2 weeks. The total hasn't changed. It's actually went 63. Well, without Kings, I don't think this is a high-scoring game for Georgia Tech. With Kings, it is. So I guess they're anticipating Kings play. Both teams with the 22 defense. So, if King plays, Georgia Tech can win the game. We'll see about that, but maybe makes the total a little bit more because without him, they'll never get to 63 because Georgia Tech just won't score. With him, they will. So we'll check that on Yahoo. Liberty 11.5, 55 to Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is the Z team. Connecticut 7.5, 54.5 to UAB. Connecticut's playing very well. They're a B team. Marshall 12.5, 53.5 to Southern Miss, who's probably, along with Kent, the worst team in college football. So they're definitely a Z team. Good game. Iowa State 2.5, 51 to Kansas. Kansas is playing very well. Daniels is getting better. Iowa State 2.5 off the loss to Texas Tech that they never should have had. They should have scored a lot more points on Texas Tech. Where was Rocco back? Rocco Brecca last week. So I think Kansas can win, or this should be a good game. I don't think Iowa State blows them out here. San Jose State, Oregon State, 357. I think San Jose State's a live dog in this game. The Army's up to 6-65. So they were down to 3. And then I saw Ivanhoe this morning and 6. Daly is playing. It's a huge addition. With Daly, they're scoring 40 points a game, and they got a good defense. But North Texas is an over team. They're scoring 40 points a game, and they give up 37. Total of 65. So now I think Army wins, but it's at North Texas. I think it's definitely plenty of points. Indiana 14.5, 48 to Michigan. I got a feeling Indiana's going to win big here. They get Ohio State in a week or two, and they're on a roll. And Michigan sucks. I mean, the one quarterback that they thought was good, Tuttle, is retired because of an injury. So they got, Warren, who sucks. Against this Indiana team, they don't have a chance. This is going to be, 35-7 or something like that. Clemson, 653 to Virginia Tech. The number hasn't moved. Normally, I like Clemson over here because they've been scoring a lot. Virginia Tech with the 22 defense, but we don't have drones, or we don't know if we have drones. And so I can't go over if I don't have both teams participating in it. So then it becomes, should I play Clemson, which I haven't thought about. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Game's at 3:30. Big game. Georgia is now 54.5 to Old Mississippi. The 54.5 hasn't moved. The 2 went from 2 to 1 and now back to 2. Big game, Georgia. They went into Texas 30-15. They went into Alabama, and Alabama doesn't like being a home dog. Beat them. Well, Georgia actually was winning the game with a minute left. It was 34-33. And then Alabama scored that miracle touchdown on them. And Georgia still should have won the game. If the receiver went after the ball at the end, he gets a touchdown. So you can't count Georgia out. They got too many players. Kirby Smart. Ole Miss has never been there. They've already lost 2. Very hard for me to bet against Georgia in this situation because this is big moment. They play for big moments. The total, I don't know what to do. I've thought about over. I thought about under. I can't. Ole Miss is very inconsistent. They lost to Kentucky 20-17. I mean, what do you do with this team? Then last week they beat Arkansas with the 60, but it's Jackson Dart, and I don't know. I mean, this game, it's just watch the game. I do have a score, but I don't know. To me, I'm rooting for Georgia because I like Georgia, but that's it. See, Ole Miss hasn't been there, so you don't know what they're going to do. Georgia wins national titles and plays Alabama all the time, so you know what you get there. All right, James Madison, 15-54 to Georgia State. They're the A team, explosive sometimes. Georgia State's a W with the 31 defense. James Madison should put up some points here. NC State 352 to Dookie. That number hasn't changed. UTEP and Kennesaw State, the Z team's going at it. It's at UTEP, Texas, 5-42.5. That number's gone up. It was 4. It's now 5-42 has been where it's at. You want to bet this game, you need help because this is the battle of the Z. Unless you want UTEP at home, I don't know. Tulane 26-50 to Temple, down from 27. The Sharps coming on Temple here, and 49. So the total stayed. Temple 35 defense. They're the Z team. Tulane's the A team. Colorado and Coach Prime, 4.5, 62.5. The total hasn't changed. The number, I think, was 3.5 or 4. It's now 4.5. Now, one important variable that you have to measure in college football is Heisman Trophy and the playoffs. It's a weird playoff system. It's not like win your conference, like the Buffalo Bills. They got a 5-game lead in their division. Probably they win, they're in the playoffs, so they don't have to really worry about it. In this situation, I don't know if Colorado can make the playoffs, but they are, you got Prime Junior and the receiver looking for Heisman Trophy. So in a normal game, you're up 10 points, you take a knee or you run it into the line to run the clock out. Not Coach Prime. Not in this game. This game, Colorado's going to keep scoring. So Prime Junior can look good. So the receiver can look good. Texas Tech, they're going to keep scoring because they're Texas Tech and they are explosive. So where Colorado might be up 10, they're going to keep going. So keep that in mind in a lot of these games. Ohio State, not necessarily Oregon will just try to win, but Penn State has to win. They're playing, we haven't gotten there yet. They're playing Washington. So now you get this extra variable, which is called Heisman Trophy. I got to put up numbers. But Jackson Dart's not going to put up numbers against Georgia. That's for sure. And then you have certain teams trying to get in the playoffs, and it's more the eye test, and it's more, there's 12 teams, but there's 20 good ones. You got teams like Boise, like BYU, like Cincinnati, who can't just win. They got to win big, right? Boise wins tonight. They're playing Nevada. If they win tonight 21-20, they're not getting in the playoffs because they barely beat Nevada. They got to beat Nevada by 20, 30 points. Same thing with BYU, Utah. Well, they just have to win because it's a big rivalry game. Tennessee and Mississippi are kind of on the edge there, so they got to play. Alabama, LSU, this is an elimination game basically because I think they both have, if Alabama loses, they got 2 losses and they're out, and if LSU loses, they got 3 losses and they're out. LSU can't lose, but if they beat Alabama, then all's good. Again, I think they put up. Milrose has to have a good game. I don't know if he's going for Heisman or not. Newhouser for LSU is a good quarterback. We've seen LSU. We've seen Alabama's weak point. Their weakness is passing. Georgia lit them up, put up 30 points in the second half. Vanderbilt beat them with Pavia, 40 points. Couldn't stop the passing. Okay, they look good against Missouri, who doesn't. Cook's not himself this year. But that's Alabama's thing. Now in this Alabama LSU game, you don't have Nick Saban. So this isn't going to be an Alabama Nick Saban. We're going to play defense game. This guy, DeBoer. I got to go to last year and look what happened last year. They played Oregon twice with a 10 defense or a 15 defense Oregon had. And they put up 35 points, and both games were like 35-34 and like 38-31. He plays strong in the big games, and he scores big in the big games. The only one was the Michigan game where I don't think he had the running back or something, and Michigan blitzed the whole game. Okay, so – but that's his MO is he's in the big games, he scores. In the Georgia game, they came out 28-0. They will light up LSU tonight. And the question is, but Brian Kelly lights you back. He plays explosive in big games too. That's the method of the madness for that game. We're betting DeBoer, not Saban, so you can't look at last year and go, oh, and last year, the last 2 years weren't low scoring anyway. So expect fireworks in that game. Milrose has been there. And LSU, it's Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Bobby will probably be there. Look out for fireworks in this game. This isn't 10-7. Okay. Vanderbilt, I don't know what's going on here. South Carolina is now 6:45. Pavia is playing. I don't see Pavia out. He's probable. I don't get it. Probable. Pavia probable. They got some D linemen out and a D end, but it doesn't matter because they rotate. They have 10 guys, so it's the process. So I'm kind of shocked that the money's going on South Carolina. I still like Vanderbilt. I took them plus, I think, 3.5 or 4. Now you got 6.5. I still would take Vanderbilt. It's the free play. I got Vandy winning 27-24 with Pavia. Pavia is the key. You got the quarterback. That's the key to the game. So I still think Vanderbilt wins. I don't understand the line. And here's where a stoic lesson comes in. I've analyzed the game. Vanderbilt beats Alabama, plays Texas to 3, beats Kentucky. What are we worried about here? They won last week at Auburn 17-7. They got a good defense. South Carolina's got the big quarterback who runs, who's a freshman. Okay. Well, I think they've seen that with Milrose, and they've seen it with in other games. So my thought is I take Vanderbilt as a home dog, should win the game. Why the line's going up, I'd like to ask the sharps doing it, but I don't buy it. And here's where you can't panic and you stick to your guns. You've analyzed the game. Vanderbilt beat Alabama, played Texas to a 3. Why are they going to get blown out by South Carolina, who just blew out A&M at home, and now they go on the road? And we saw what A&M did to LSU. Then they went to South Carolina as a road favorite and got killed by South Carolina, who's waiting for them. A&M's flat after the big win over LSU, and South Carolina beats them. Same scenario now. South Carolina at home beats A&M. Now they're going to be flat. They go to Vandy, who's beating everybody. They're not afraid of Alabama. They're not afraid of Texas. They're not afraid of Kentucky. They beat Auburn. Why the fuck would they be afraid of South Carolina? Pavio's fine. So stoically, you still like the game. You got more points. You have no reason to get off of Vanderbilt. Pavio's not hurt. A couple of linemen are hurt. Okay, well, I'm sure South Carolina's got a couple of linemen hurt. The key's Pavia, and we're going to ride them. So, at 3.5, I like them. I like them at 6.5, even more. 12.5. They're not going to lose this game by 12.5. So as long as Pavia is playing, which it says he is, I looked at Yahoo and there, you got to go with Vandy. I got him winning 27-24. Nothing's changed. So that's where you're stoic, even though the line's moving against you and you can't figure out why. You check the injuries. Now the quarterback's fine. He's the key. There's no reason to get off the game just because the line's moving. I gave you that story when I was in Vegas, Thanksgiving. Fresno State played San Jose State. I go to bed Friday night, Fresno State's laying 7. I wake up Saturday morning and the line's 11. Guess who won the game? San Jose State. Beat them by 10. I'm laying 1. This was, I think, David Carr was or Derek Carr. The kid at New Orleans was the quarterback. I think they had Devontae Adams, and they got blown out by San Jose State, and the line moved 7-11. So you can't get that. Hey, G, you can't get sucked in. You must stay stoic. If you analyze the game and you pick it and you write your score down and this is what I think, and the line moves against you, you just give me more. Give me 12.5 in Vanderbilt. I'm not going to take 9.5. I can get 12.5. So you have to ignore this movement because there's no reason for it. Right. Oh, South Carolina beat A&M. That was at home after A&M was flat after LSU. This is Vanderbilt at home, beating Alabama, playing Texas close, beating Auburn. This is not a bad team, and you're making them a home dog. Thank you very much. Okay. Your stoic lesson. Jacksonville State, 9.5, 56 to L-Tech. Jacksonville State, an explosive team. L-Tech, are they a Z team? We'll go through the Z teams. L-Tech, where the hell are they? They're an under team. They're a 20 defense. They don't score a lot, so they're not a Z. They score a little too much to be. Well, they have a good defense to not be. Lou Lafayette, 14, 60.5 to Arkansas State. Western Kentucky, 17.5, 52 to New Mexico State, and they are a Z team. New Mexico State, Western Kentucky can score. Oregon, 23.5, 57.5 to Maryland. This line has not moved. 57.5. What can I say? Oregon's the A team. They need it for the playoff. Maryland is an over team, so they're not going to do anything. Old Mississippi State goes to Tennessee. Tennessee, 25.5, 26, and 61.5, 62 is your total. Tennessee, this line has moved from 24, we'll call it 26. And the total, 61.5. I'm afraid of this game. Tennessee's a strong running game. They're going to run it down Old Mississippi State's throat, but Old Mississippi State gains quarterbacks, and they're scoring a lot. So I'm a little afraid to take Tennessee because I don't like their quarterback. He's not even a Milrose. He's a freshman volleyball player, so I'm not really sold on him. He's looked terrible a lot of times, overthrowing receivers. He can't make good decisions. What bothers me in the game is Old Mississippi State's been lighting it up lately. Now, they have a 35 defense. So I don't trust Tennessee laying 20 here, although I think it'll be a very high scoring game. I think Old Mississippi State will score something because they've been scoring. It's SEC. They played Georgia 51-31. So take it from there. Arizona State, 356 to UCF. Should be a very good ball game. Arizona State's good. They got Scootaboo, the running back, or Scataboo. And UCF just runs it down your throat with, I think it's either Hugh Freeze or the other guy. Very strong running attack. Look for a good game here. TCU 10.5, 68 to Oak State. Both are over teams. Both are 30 defenses, and we know the Big 12. We know the over teams. Notre Dame 25, 42.5 to Florida State. Let's call it 25. And 42. Florida State's absolutely horrible. Really, they're a Z team. They have a 27 defense. They can't score. Their quarterback sucks. Notre Dame's playing very strong defense. They got a 12 defense, but they're still an A team. Riley Leonard, they've been scoring more. Touchdown Jesus is going to go have a big day today, I think. Alabama, LSU, we talked about. Alabama, 2.5, 58.5. That's about where it's been. 2.5, 58. Yeah, look for points in this game. I'd be shocked. This is not 10-7. This is not that Alabama LSU. DeBoer will score. I guarantee you Alabama in the 30s, okay? And LSU is not going to get shut out by this defense. They are weak against the pass, so it's a nice matchup. Oklahoma's up to 341.5 against my Brady Cook. The Missouri don't really I can't play Oklahoma as a road favorite. They're terrible this year. They have no quarterback. They're an under team with a 21 defense. Missouri's at an 18 defense. Probably not a lot of points here. Boise, Nevada. Boise, 23.5, 60.5. I've just added this game on my picks, so revisit my picks if you've bought. After thinking about this and my statement on Colorado with Prime Jr. and the receiver, look for Gentry to get 300 yards and 6 touchdowns in this game. He's probably the best player. He should win the Heisman, but he's a running back, but he's a great running back. If you watch him play, he just is you can't tackle him, and he's fast. So the first guy hits him, and he just bounces off like it's nothing. I'm talking linebackers, defensive ends. And Nevada, so we look at Nevada, they got a 28 defense. Now, I like the quarterback in Nevada. Lewis is back. And Boise, they like to run the ball, but this guy, he'll 3 plays, 80 yards, and a 50-yard run by Gentry. Look for Gentry to get 300 yards in this game. Again, he wants the Heisman Trophy, so that variable, shove that up your algorithm, Heisman Trophy variable that you don't have in there. Look for a big game from Boise. Nevada can hang around a little. They can score, and Boise's defense isn't that great. So look for Gentry, big game. Penn State, 12.5, 47.5. This should be a much better game than that. I think this line's too high. Washington just beat USC last week. They beat Michigan. They're a very good team. Look for I think this is a much closer game than 12.5. Pitt, 7.57 to Virginia. I've been going through this game. Pitt's a very explosive team. They're an over team. They got the shit beat out of them last week by SMU, put up 60 on them. So Pitt, really, they got a 25 defense. Virginia at the 28. Virginia scores pretty good, 28 defense. Pitt is an over team, so should be an entertaining game. Vegas, 12.5, 50.5 against Hawaii. Not as easy as it looks. You think, oh boy, I'll take Vegas, 12.5. Hawaii beat Fresno last week. They played UCLA tough. They have a good defense. This is a very good Hawaii team defensively. They don't score a lot, but you just beat Fresno State 21-20. So look for Vegas here to be ready. It's at Hawaii, which always is you're caught looking at the rainbows in the ocean and not playing the game. So I think Vegas wins, but I think it's closer than we think. Air Force, Fresno 9.5, 40.5. Air Force is a Z team. If Fresno State's going to have a big game by Mikey Keene, it's this one. Air Force, they got a 27 defense for Mikey Keene, and they got no offense. I mean, it's going to be all Fresno State here. I think this is where he gets well. Again, they lost to Hawaii. Now, either they're really bad, and all they have is Mikey Keene. I know they don't have a running attack, and their defense was okay. They played Michigan really well, and after that, they kind of fizzled. So I'm not really sure, but if you're looking at Mikey Keene, this is the game to play him. Again, we're playing against the Z team. BYU, Utah, BYU 3.5. I see a 41. BYU's an A team with the 20 defense. They've been scoring. Utah's an under team without Cam Rising and a 16 defense. This is a war. This is a rivalry game. Normally we tease the dog in a rivalry game, which we can't do because we don't have Cam Rising. If we had Cam Rising and they're getting 3 at home as a home dog, we're locking Utah. But we don't have Cam Rising, so we have to adjust. and the adjustment has been added. So after looking at it and feeling it, I've added this game. Got a good feel on it. I'm playing logic here, and you should know what it is if you listen. All right. Should be a very good game. Could be Utah could beat them. BYU's undefeated. So we'll see. Washington State 20.5, 70 to Utah State. Both are over teams. Utah State with a 42 defense. Washington State with the 27 defense. This is an easy over, except the line's 70. So it's kind of killed the over. I still think it's high scoring, but the 70, but if this was 62, I'd be over on it. But I think here's where the line kind of because Washington State beat Washington like 28-21, I'm kind of, wait a minute. I still think this is high scoring, and they'll probably go over 70, but the number is too big for me. All right. So free play, Vanderbilt is a home dog. We've got now 5 locks in the pros. We've already won one. We had Cincinnati, Baltimore over on Thursday night. That was a lock. And Joe Burrow did his thing. That's why you bet the quarterback. We bet Joe Burrow, and he goes over, and they went over. The offensive coordinator should be fired, and the head coach should be fired. Why would you go for 2? You got Joe Burrow. Go to overtime. You got Joe Burrow. Not a problem. And then the odds in you getting the 2-point conversion, throwing the ball are like 2%. And the problem in the game is Cincinnati's up 21-7, and they're running the ball, and the runner gets stripped, and Baltimore then scores, and it's 21-14. You got Joe Burrow and Chase. Just keep throwing the ball. You haven't won it 21-7 in the third quarter. Keep throwing. And that's why the offensive coordinator needs to be fired. I don't want to hear that. You've got to play the game as it is. This game is in Baltimore. You're winning 21-7. They can't stop Chase. Just keep throwing them the fucking ball. Why would you run? You don't have good running backs. Your GM's got his head up his ass. Doesn't know how to get a good running back. Zach Moss, and I think he's hurt. If Cincinnati would go after Gentry, they'd win the Super Bowl next year. And they need 3 or 4 good defensive players from, I don't know. Normally I'd go to Georgia, but not now. I think I'd still got to go to Iowa State and Iowa and some of my other – who's my low school? Oh, yeah, Mississippi, the Army, let's see. Kentucky, they have good. Oregon's got good players. Tennessee has some really. They had a 12 defense. Notre Dame, not hard to find. Penn State with the 15. Utah has good defense. Indiana has a 14 defense. Texas with an 11. It ain't hard to find 5 or 6 good defensive players right there out of those schools. Why do I say that as opposed to getting a kid out of Rice? Because these schools, they don't allow points. Therefore, they must have good defensive players to shut down the other team. Hello. So Detroit keeps taking guys from Alabama, and it's a big mistake. They're not that good from Alabama. It's all a system with Nick Saban, and he's gone now. So I don't know. Anyway, so the coach should be fired for going for 2 and running, and the offensive coordinator needs to be fired for the go for 2 play. Wasn't to Chase. And I would have done like a jet sweep to Chase or something like that, or fake the jet sweep and let Burrow run or something. You can't pass at the 2-yard line. There's no room. Yes, there was quarterback, roughing the quarterback. They hit him in the face mask. Let's not call that one because we want to go home because the game's over. And there was like they threw down Gesicki, but he wasn't really in the play. So I don't mind that one, but they hit Joe Burrow in the face mask. If it was Tom Brady, he'd have got the call. So that's Baltimore's a very dirty team anyway. But that's where you've got to play your strengths. Running the ball for Cincinnati is not their strength. Keep it in Joe Burrow and Chase's hand, and you would have won the game. So offensive coordinator needs to be fired. Head coach needs to be fired for going for two. Tie the game up, and you got Joe Burrow. And you go to overtime. God, you're going to probably win the game with Joe Burrow. What the fuck are you thinking going for two? And your odds are probably under 10% against Baltimore at the end of a game, not just in general. In the first quarter, we go for two and look at the stats. I mean, it's so stupid. These analytics are horrible, and the coaches who listen to them are idiots and should all be fired because that's not how you win games. Anyway, so that was lock number one. So fortunately, we got away with betting on a Thursday game, which we don't normally. I hate it because it just starts the week off bad. But when you hit it, it's good. And if it was Sunday, I'd have had him in 3 teasers. I only had him in 1 teaser because I didn't want to fuck my week up with the Thursday night game. But it wins. It's locked with somebody else, so it's good. Last night, Memphis beats Rice 27-20. We have Memphis, UCLA. I called beating Iowa because Iowa had to travel to the West Coast, and you can't in the Big Ten. The home teams seem to win when the travel goes, so we've got UCLA 20, Iowa 17. So Iowa wins by 50 at home and goes on the road and loses 2017. UCLA is playing much better. We will be on them the rest of the year. Cal kills Wake Forest 46-36. Cal's playing well. I had to relax on that because they were traveling west to east. My score there was 35-20. They win 46-36. I have UCLA 27-20, wins 20-17. I have Memphis 34-27. They win 27-20. And I call New Mexico to beat San Diego State, but I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. New Mexico wins 21-16. I had it 44-37. New Mexico scores, so that surprised me, but it didn't surprise me they won. So a good day yesterday. So I've been pretty hot earlier in the week. I didn't play a lot of them because I hate these Thursday, Friday games. So that's what we got. So keep in mind, Colorado and Boise, they're players for the Heisman. Ole Miss and Georgia, you can't do anything Heisman there because they're playing Georgia. So you're trying to survive that game. Fucking Bama LSU should be a war at LSU. Death Valley at a Saturday night. Bobby, I want to see you there. There's a live tiger. I want to see you pet the live tiger on TV. What can I say? BYU, Utah. BYU is undefeated, and Utah would love nothing more at home to beat them. So be careful if you're playing BYU. I didn't play BYU to win. I played it a different way, and it is a lock. Again, Vandy's the free play. So I think I got it. Miami. It looks like Kings is going to play. Maybe Google that. It's a noon game. I'm not sure what to do with it. Miami laying 2.5 if it isn't Kings is a good bet. Otherwise, Kings plays, they could upset them. Duke had them by 11 last week, and then Miami poured it on in the fourth quarter, a couple of turnovers, I believe. So that's what you got. But with Kings, Georgia Tech can beat anybody. So they're like Duke. They're a very live dog, especially at home. Ohio State should. I think they need it for the playoff because they lost to Oregon. Look for Ohio State to probably put up a 50 on Purdue. They have to. All right. I'm going to get into the NFL right now, and I want to go through teaser trends. And I've updated it, and I'm blown away by a lot of these trends. So we're going to go 2024, which is this year. Most teams have played 9 games. There's a few 8-gamers. We're just going to go down the list of teaser. Minnesota 7-1, which is 88% in a teaser. Detroit 7-1, 88%. Green Bay's 8-1, 89%. The Rams are 7-1. This is in a teaser, right? Just play them in a teaser. 7-1. Washington is 8-1 in a teaser. Pittsburgh is 8-0 in a teaser. Buffalo is 8-1 in a teaser, losing only to Baltimore. Indy's 8-1 in a teaser. Houston's 8-1 in a teaser. Denver's 8-1 in a teaser. San Diego is 7-1 in a teaser. Kansas City's 8-0 in a teaser. So your 8-0 teams are Pitt and Kansas City, and I believe Minnesota. No, Minnesota's 7-1. Washington was 8-0. They're 8-1. Denver was 8-0, and I believe they're 8-1. Yeah, they're 8-1. So you got all these teams 8-1. So when I give you the list, that's what the list is: 8-1s, 9-0s. Now let's look at the against. So if we look at the against list, we start off with the Jets, 8-1 against. So this is bet against them in a teaser. Houston, 8-1 both ways. So they play close games. They cover, but you bet against them, you win. Indy's the same way. They're 8-1 in a teaser, 9-0 against. Just bet against Indy, you're 9-0. Miami, bet against, 8-0. Now they've had quarterback issues, but still they're 8-0 against. Jacksonville, 8-1 against. They suck. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is out. Tennessee, 7-1 against. They suck. It was good changing coaches and going with Will Levis. Yeah, that was really a smart move. Dallas, 7-1 against, and they're going to go to Cooper Rush. The best thing that happened to him is Dak Prescott got hurt. So that's it. I don't have enough data. Like if I look at Detroit is 3-0 as a road favorite to Houston, and Detroit's 8-1. But that's not enough this year. 3-0. We can go to Detroit for the last 2 years, and if we go to Houston, they haven't been a home dog. They're 8-1 in the teaser. They're 8-1 against also. So they're 4-0 as a home favorite and 4-0 against. And a lot of it's been against Indy and Tennessee and Jacksonville. This is the first real team they're going to play. What the hell? All right. So that's this year. Now, Jalen Daniels has made a big difference. Bo Nix has made a big difference. Pittsburgh's got Russell Wilson and Fields. So it's a little new for Russell Wilson. Buffalo 8-1, and we know them. So Mahomes 8-0. I mean, it's enough said. They're 8-0, and they've covered every week. They are home to. They're home to Denver. Denver is 3-1 as a road dog, 8-1 overall. KC's 4-0 as a home favorite, 8-0 overall. You don't want to go against Denver. They're 2-2 as a road dog. KC's 3-1, bet against as a home favorite. So just an example how you read it. So we can go back. So let's go back to 23-24. We get a little bit more flavor. Now, it's hard to use all these because of the changing coaches and the changing quarterbacks. Minnesota, 22-3 in a teaser. They are a road favorite. They're 6-1 as a road favorite in Jacksonville. They're 6-0 as a road dog. They're 12-1 on the road, Minnesota. Holy fuck. Let's just go through the spicy ones. Detroit is 8-1 as a road favorite, 12-2 against. You can use Detroit, same coach, same quarterback. So there's a time you can use them and a time you can't. We can use Detroit. Hard to use Minnie, but we can. The coach is there. Darnell's there instead of Cousins. But they had injuries last year, and they still have this 22-3 mark going with the backup quarterback. Let's see. Green Bay's 23-5. We can use them. Love's been there and the coach. Let's see. The Rams. The Rams are 6-1 as a home favorite, 5-0 as a home dog because they had some injuries. They're 11-1 at home. The Rams, 22-4. They're 85% in a teaser the last year plus. So it's 23 plus this year. Carolina, as we know, 24-2 bet against, 11-1 is a home dog, 13-1 as a road dog. They were a road dog this week to the Giants, so it's kind of not the best sort to play them with, but 24-2, and you can use it because it's Steve Young and the coach. I think it's the same coach. He won't be there much longer, but 24-2. The Giants tomorrow are 1-0 as a road favorite, so you can't use them. 17-9 overall, they're nothing. Philly is a road favorite, nothing there. Dallas is a home dog, 2-0 against. Washington was terrible last year and now good this year. So we can't use Washington's trends because now that they got Daniels, they cover every week, where before you could bet against them every week. Let's see. Arizona's interesting. They're a home dog to the Jets this week. They're 8-2 as a home dog, 9-1 bet against, and you can use this because Kyler Murray and the coach were there. So they're really a bad home dog. Very good to bet against. Cincinnati and Baltimore, we've got Cincinnati was 4-1 as a road dog, and now they're 5-1 as a road dog. And Baltimore, 10-4 as a home favorite. It's now 11-4. Tennessee is what do we got? They're a road dog to San Diego, and they're 10-2 bet against as a road dog. Can we use it? I don't. Vrabel's not there, and the quarterback, so they just suck anyway. Pittsburgh, 6-1 as a road dog, 20-6 overall, but they got Russell Wilson. They're 11-2 on the road, 5-1 as a road favorite, 6-1. You got the coach. God, I can't think of his name, but they're still a road dog with the quarterbacks they had last year. Now they got Russell Wilson, so pretty good. Jacksonville is a home dog. Jacksonville is 4-0 against as a home dog, so they don't like being a home dog. Miami is a road dog. 9-0 bet against Miami as a road dog, and you can use that because you got Tag and you got the coach, the towel boy from the Niners. So it's 9-0 against Miami as a road dog, and that includes last week's loss to Buffalo as a road dog. Buffalo is not a good road favorite, 4-4, 6-2 against. New England, we got them as a road dog at the Bears, is 8-4. There's nothing there. Indy is what? Indy is they're a home dog to Buffalo. They're 5-2 as a home dog, 6-1 against as a home dog. So a little edge to Buffalo there, but not a lot. Houston, a home dog to the Lions, 4-1, 2-3 against. So they're not a bad home dog. Combined this year, they're 9-0 against. The JETSs are road favorites, and nothing there. Oakland is off, I think. I haven't seen Oakland. Denver is a road dog to you can't use Denver because Bo Nix. San Diego, they're 6-1 as a home favorite, 5-1 as a home dog. They're 11-2 at home. You can't use them because of Harbaugh, but this year they're very strong. So you can only look at this year's trend because you didn't have Harbaugh. Although you did have Justin Herbert, but I think he was hurt a little too. So they're still 11-2 at home with Stick and without Herbert, without Harbaugh. So interesting. Kansas City, they're the champs, 11-2 as a home favorite, 25-4 overall. You can use this. Reed and Mahomes bet against 9-4 and 23-6. So KC, very good against the number. They're up there with Minnesota as the champs. Bet against Carolina is 92%. Seattle, we've got, are they playing? No, I don't think they are. Seattle is 22-4 bet against, and we, I don't know, I think, did we bet against them last week? Anyway, they're terrible at home. They're 8-1 as a home favorite and 5-0 as a home dog bet against. So they're 13-1 if you bet against Seattle in a teaser at home. Now, you don't have Coach Pete, but if anything, it got worse, right? So if they're this with Coach Pete and this new guy, you had the same offense. That's what you have. So I just wanted to interject the teaser trends that I really haven't been using because of all these changes, but you can see how explosive they are. Kansas City is a home favorite. Miami 9-0 or 8-0 against. Pitt's a strong road dog. Minnesota is 22-3 the last 25. San Diego strong as a home favorite. Detroit 23-5, 8-1 is a road favorite. LA is 11-1 at home, and Miami is play against road dog 9-0. So when you start seeing that, now, as Gia often says, can I use it? And the answer is you're not really sure if you can use it because of the changes. Oh, wait a minute, Coach Pete's not there. Can I use Seattle's? Oh, wait, Russell Wilson's at Pittsburgh. Can I use Pittsburgh? Well, if they were doing this without him and now they've added him, probably. Anyway, so that's it. We'll look at pros later. I have now I have 5 locks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've already played 1 with Cincinnati. So 5 locks in each. And again, I don't play them lightly. They're got to be deserved. And I don't play locks to play locks. I don't play locks so people buy the locks thinking, oh, good, there's locks. I play them because I should. Let's look at the line again. Well, let's look at Haynes King. Is he playing? Haynes King, 3 hours ago, game time call versus Miami. Haynes King injury report reveals Georgia Tech quarterback. He will undergo pregame workouts before decision is made. According to the report, King did not practice with the team. So we don't know if we have Haynes King. All I can say, if we don't, Miami's a pretty good play today without Haynes King. Let me check my emails. Anybody trying to get a hold of me? Alex. Oh, okay. I didn't check for him. Scadaboo is out today, the Arizona State running back. Well, there's nothing I can do. I've already played the game. Who are they with? They're playing UCF. We only have UCF in 1 teaser. Oh, no, I do have them in 2. Well, you get to the backup, and hopefully he's okay. Still, yeah, that hurts, but what are you going to do with it? Again, if I go into, this is what's frustrating. So I go into, covers, and let's go into that game. Let's see, Miami's 8.5 and 10. Is he playing or not? Let's go into Arizona State. So the running back is out. we believe. So let's look at the injuries. Arizona State's down to 2.5. Well, it really hasn't gone down. It was 3, 2.5, and the total is still, it's 55.5. The total hasn't really moved. Let's go to injuries and see if it says it. UCF, nobody. Arizona State. Now it says Scadaboo is out. It didn't say it before. November 8th. So this was yesterday. Okay. So still the quarterback's playing, and I'm sure they got backups, and they're a good team. So UCF can light them up also. 25 defenses. So it's not, of course we'd rather have them, but that's okay. Daily for Army is playing. Let's see what the Army line is. Army's 6-65. So the total hasn't changed. Let's see what else. Indiana 14.5. Clemson 6.53 to Virginia Tech. Georgia 2.54.5. Hasn't moved. Duke NC State. NC State 3. That hasn't moved. Colorado 4.5, 62.5. I don't think that's moved. No. South Carolina still 6.5, 45 to Vandy. Oregon 23.5, 57.5 to Maryland. Tennessee 25-26, 62 to Old Mississippi State. That hasn't really moved. 61.5 is what I saw. Again, Arizona State 2.5, 55.5. Really hasn't moved. 55.5, 56. So the lines in with the injury is baked in. So I still think they can get. I can win the bet. Notre Dame 25, Alabama 2.5, 58.5. The line went from 58 to 58.5 and 2.5. Oklahoma 3, 41.5. Boise 23.5, 16.5. So that's about it. So not a big change. Penn State's down to 12.5, 47.5. West 13.5. BYU 3.5, 41 to Utah. And Utah State's still a 70. So that's what we've got in that. So good luck today. There's your scoop. Will Scadaboo, he's a good runner. Will he make that much? Do they not have backups? See, backup runners you can live with more than backup quarterbacks. The problem in college, they bring in the backup and he's Cam Rising, and you're like, well, what the fuck aren't you playing him? Or Flowers or Van Dyke. So that's the problem when you bring in the backup and he lights it up. Anyway, off to buy some gold. We need to go to the grocery store. A busy day. So anyway, good luck today. If you want to, you can still buy. Again, if you want, you can pay for the class and get the class discount, or you can, but I already did the class last night. Or you can buy the, just pay, a lot of people buy the month. It's $100 a week, but $300 for the month. Or you can buy the classes, which would be $200 for the month if you do it that route. That's about it. Look for again the Heisman Trophy teams. You're looking at the playoff teams. So there's all these other variables that get etched in. But a couple of really good games. The Georgia Ole Miss, the Alabama LSU is a night game. The BYU Utah, I think that's the 10:30 game, is a good game. Colorado Texas Tech is a very good game. My Vandy's going to win. Fuck them all. Indiana is going to dismantle Michigan. I look forward to that one. Anyway, I think that's about it. Questions, comments, please feel free. Anyway, I think that's it. No questions or comments. So quickly on Bitcoin versus gold, as long as we'll do a little bit of economics. I think we've covered our football. I think people are disillusioned by Bitcoin, thinking it's money, and it's not. Like I say, it's like a stock. So would you buy Apple stock? But you're disillusioned because the Bitcoin's $70,000 for what? A coin, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But it's not real. You can't. It's digital. It's fake. So people are paying 70,000. Now I know some of you guys bought it because it went from 60 to 75. So somebody's paying 75,000 for Bitcoin. They're out of their fucking minds. If you're going to spend 75 grand, go buy a Rolex or the Mantle card I show you, because you actually have them. What you don't have anything with the Bitcoin. It is not money. It is not gold. It is not going to change when the inflation, when the dollar goes out because of the inflation. You're not going to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not money. You can't go on a trip. You can't pay the airlines Bitcoin. You can't pay the hotels. You can't go to Italy with Bitcoin and say, oh, I want to get spaghetti. I'm sorry, you're not buying it. So this is the problem with Bitcoin. It's not money. It's at best a stock. So for $70,000, you can buy a whole lot of shares of Apple or Amazon or the Mantle cards, PSA 9 graded, or the Rolex watch, or a bunch of gold and silver, which is real money, which is very limited. You want limited things. That's what holds value. That's why gold's been around. Bitcoin, I don't buy. You can't prove it's 21 million, and I don't buy 21 million as limited. I got a 50 count Mahomes card. I would say that's limited, not Bitcoin. And you can't prove it's 21. You can't prove it's real. You can't touch it and hold it. It's not real. It's a Ponzi scheme. But how do you get people? People are driven by, I'm not going to say greed, but by profit. I can make $70,000 and it's going to $1 million. I mean, it's asinine. How does the price move? I don't know. So you've got to be careful there. Now, I'm not trying to knock Bitcoin. I'm trying to wake people up to realize Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. It has no value because it's not even real. It's a computer thing. I mean, there is no value in Bitcoin. It has well, I should say it has a value, but there is no real Bitcoin. It's not real. At least if you own Apple, at least you own part of the company, and their profits make the stock value, but the stock's way overvalued. But at least you have Apple as a company, right? Or Amazon as a company. So there it is a company. They're way overvalued, and I wouldn't own stocks. However, that's what you have here. So with that said, the Bitcoin is it's not real. And I just feel people are going to spend 75,000 on it. And when it goes to zero, they're going to cry. And it's going to go to zero because the dollar is worthless. So you're valuing it in dollars. There is no Bitcoin value. If there was, it would be one. Now, yes, you value the mantle and you value the gold and silver and the Rolex in dollars, but you don't need to value it in gold is itself. So you value gold in gold and silver. The Bitcoin or the Rolex you can value in gold, and the mantle card you can value in gold because they're assets. I'm going to buy a Rolex. I'm going to put it on my wrist. I'm going to have it. I can't do it with a Bitcoin. So be very careful on digital shit. It's all fake. They've all been Ponzi schemes. It's all a get rich quick scheme, just like Madoff. Oh, I'm going to get rich on Madoff and get 15% a month, da 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 da. That's why they're in Madoff. They didn't know how he did it. They didn't care how he did it. All they cared about is they get 15% a month. That's how stupid people are. And then when he goes to prison for fraud, then they start crying. Oh, I didn't know. I got 15% a month for the last 5 years. So I thought it was legit. And the SEC didn't prosecute because they were in on it, you idiots. So that's what you have with Bitcoin. Just be careful. It's not real. If you can't hold it and touch it, if I don't have it and I don't touch it and I can't see it, I don't have anything. It's not real. So you must understand this is not real because it's, this is real. The Bitcoin, you can't hold it. Why don't they have the coins? Why don't they have a Bitcoin coin that they have those little Bitcoin things. Now, if they had that, and that was worth 75,000, and it was based on supply and demand and free market that created the price, then I would say it's just like gold and silver, but it isn't. And it's not free market. You don't know why the price went up. It's an ETF by Larry Fink. You want to play with him, you're going to get burnt every time. Look at the ETFs trying to control gold and silver, and they're all Ponzi schemes. You don't own any of the physical gold, and there's no physical Bitcoin to own. So please be very careful. If you're making money at it, I'm happy for you, as if you were making money in Amazon or Apple or Microsoft. I'm very happy for you. Get the fuck out, take your profits, and say thank you. If you think Bitcoin's going to a million what? Dollars? The dollar's gone. Can Bitcoin be valued in gold is your question. Now, don't tell me it's digital gold. If you want gold, buy gold. Don't buy Bitcoin. So if I was in Bitcoin and now it went to 75,000, I'm selling it and buying $75,000 worth of gold and let that go up 10 times. And it will, and it's limited, and I hold it. So be very careful of these Ponzi schemes. You don't realize it's a Ponzi scheme because you're so happy you're making money, except for the people that just paid $75,000 for it are not going to make money. And they're going to start crying, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme. Oh, my God. I didn't know. I thought the fake digital money that isn't really money and it's not really gold would just keep going up. Why would it stop? Trump's in office. Trump's going to make Bitcoin. So what? Is Trump going to replace the dollar with Bitcoin? Really? Is this what you think is going to happen? Okay, good luck with that one. So that's not going to happen. So just understand, if it isn't backed by gold or silver, there is no value to it. This has no value because it's not backed by anything. This has no value because it's not backed by anything. It's just paper with the number on it. Understand what's happening. Then you can make educated decisions and be stoic. But if you don't understand what's happening, you can't be stoic because you don't know. And if you don't know, why would you risk your money in it? Gold and silver is the only answer because you can actually hold it, and you have to buy physical. Do not buy ETFs. Be careful if you buy stocks. And I understand why Luke buys stocks. He's got his money in the 401k and he can't empty it. You got to pay taxes. So you switch it into a gold or silver stock so you don't pay the penalty. But be careful because stocks are going to drop tremendously. Trump being in, it doesn't matter because the money's gone. Trump can't make this money worth anything. The only way this can be worth anything is to back it by gold. And unless he's Rumpelstiltskin like me, turning money into gold, you can't do anything. And then they'd have to admit the dollar's worthless, which they can't do. So it ends up where the gold is just going to explode and the silver is going to come along with it. I was watching Mark McGuire yesterday. Don't waste your time. Some idiot was on about silver, doesn't even understand derivatives or paper gold or paper. Why does he have these guests on that don't understand that this price of silver is derivative? It's paper. It's not physical. It's not real. And until we get that on Basel III, it's not ever going to go up. It will go up eventually when it's just the demand for silver is going to go. So he comes out and he says, well, for the last 4 years, the demand for silver was higher than the supply. Like 10 people wanted it, and there's only you wanted 10 ounces. There's only 5. Oh, why isn't the price going up? Because it's manipulated. Anyway, so that's your economics lesson. If you're in Bitcoin, take your profits and run just like you would at a casino. Anyway, free pick, Vanderbilt, plus the 12.5. I still like them. Scatterboo's out for Arizona State, but it's a low number. I don't mind it. UCF scores a lot. Arizona State will score a lot. I think we'll be okay with the as long as the quarterback's playing. And there's not a lot I can do. I've already played the bet, so that's all I can do. 5 locks, college, 5 pro, of which I've already played Cincinnati over, which won. That leaves us 4. So it should be a good week. I love a lot of I didn't lock some of the games, but I like them. And I haven't played Georgia, Mississippi. I still can't figure it out. And then Alabama, LSU, we have played. So that should be a real good game. So enjoy the games today. Good luck. Be smart. Please do not let one game beat you. Even in my locks, just play it normal, a little bit higher. Don't let it, if it loses like we lost with the Lions last week, don't let it kill you. Okay, it's one game. We bet a little bit more in the locks. Okay, it lost. My bankroll is fine. There's no excuse to not play next week because of my games this week. If I win them all, great. If I lose them all, terrible. But that shouldn't kill your bankroll. You're betting a percentage of your bankroll, so you should be fine for next week. So please be careful with that. Don't overreact. I know I get hot. I get 10-0 in the pros and then 11-1. You know, I'm not Madoff, though. I can't go 100% every week. I had a good week last week, 8-4. I hope to have a good week this week. But just overall, just bet smart. Try to increase your bankroll. That's what we're trying to do. And bet a little bit more on the locks is smart. And the locks, they're good plays. So hopefully they all win. And we go from there. But they're not going to go 100%. So don't get surprised. Oh, the lock loss, I can't pay my bet. No. You got to be careful there. Anyway, so that's what's going on. I got to go buy some gold, not Bitcoin. And we'll go from there. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Good luck. www.teaserking.com. If you want to buy, you can still do it. You got an hour. You got about 40 minutes. Well, I got night games and all the games tomorrow. www.teaserking.com. My email is there if you need to email me. All right. Take care, everybody. Good luck today. Have a good day. Take care.